Well, it is a beautiful morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us here on Good Morning Uganda. My name is Olive Monica Najuma, and I'm joined by the fantastic people that I love to hang out with every single morning, and that is Chantal, Olive Akandinda, and Jerome Paul Sonko, looking so damn fine this morning. If Chiraba was here, he would say, Sonko, are you going to get a wife? But no. This is actually a dinner date kind of outfit, but we'll get to that right in a moment. Good morning, Sonko.
Yes, good morning, Monica. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
And good morning to our dear viewer, and a happy new month to you all. I think when you mentioned the fact that I'm clad in an outfit that looks like I'm going on a date, I think it should be more like I'm ready for the new month.
And actually, the TV is not doing your blazer justice because it captures the color. I wish it could capture the color so that the viewer can see what I'm saying right now.
But well, besides that, I think it has been a marathon of January.
Yes.
And finally, people normally say it's 100 days of January, or let's say 89 days, or a full year in January. But finally, it is here. I did see a meme someday which was saying that since January is getting done, it seems Ugandans are going to become wealthy and the like. So it's more like for those who are saying January has not been good for them, they are most likely to be getting more money this month. But of course, to all the viewers, I do wish you all the best for the new month, and also putting you into context that we are here to make sure that you are inspired and to make sure that we continue giving you news, information, and of course something that is more to do with the analysis that we normally do as well. So a happy new month and good morning to our
Well, happy new month. It is the month of February. Finally, for those that like the joke around about the 90 days of January, it's finally over, and I think many employers have already credited your accounts, and there is reason to smile and to be happy. And in about 13 days, today being the 1st of February, then we are going to see the entire city painted red and of course black. I don't know why people like to wear red and black when it comes to Valentine's Day, but I know florists are going to flourish, and the pun is intended. They're going to make so much money, and of course those people who wrap gifts. And I love that these businesses are usually mainly occupied by women. It gives them an opportunity to make money and to contribute so much on the SME industry as Valentine's Day comes around the corner. So people who prepare gift hampers, who prepare flowers, all of them are in it. By the way, there is something that is usually done where people prepare bouquets that have, you know, money bouquets. But one thing I know for sure is that according to Bank of Uganda, legal tender is not supposed to be used for decoration of any sort. Good morning, Lady Chantal.
Good morning, Olive. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. Well, you know, you just said something very important, and I'm thinking, Rachot Subia.
Actually, I was going to ask you, would you rather roses or violets or lilies, whatever your poison, would you rather flowers or a money bouquet?
No. When it comes to a bouquet, I take my flowers seriously. Give me my flowers, please. Plus, my mobile money is active. Yeah.
I like that. Classy lady.
Yes, but I love my flowers, so please, the flowers, thank you.
Okay. I share the same sentiments. Please insert an envelope inside that big bouquet, 1,000 roses,
Yes.
but let's maintain the flowers. But I don't think Emmanuel TV is actually receiving flowers right now, as YouTube has terminated the channel that belongs to the Synagogue Church of Nations in Nigeria. Now, Synagogue Church of Nations is a Nigerian church. We have one in Uganda, but this one is the one that was started and was in the past led by the late T.B. Joshua. Now, T.B. Joshua died in 2021, but a few weeks ago, BBC had an investigation that was released, a documentary, and it highlighted cases of sexual violence and sexual harassment and torture against the members of the church by the late pastor and some of his leaders. So as we wake up this morning, there is no Emmanuel TV channel on YouTube because Well, if you watched that expose by BBC, you will know why. But I wonder, Chantal, these are men of God that we go to for spiritual nourishment.
Right.
And we also go to them because more or less they represent the image of God here on earth.
Right.
So how do you feel when you watch a documentary like the one BBC released on TB Joshua, where you find that even his own daughter was being tortured and harassed at the hands of her father?
Yesterday, I was actually saying, randomly, I was saying, God, your sons and daughters are making us doubt and causing us confusion. We don't know who is true and who isn't. And at this point, it's where you're now starting to look through the different men of God and women of God that we have. And you're trying to find out who of these can I go to, and they are going to feed my spirit the way it should be fed. And that is a question that very many of us right now cannot have answers to. Because those we trust the most have dirty work in the background, and it's very disturbing. You know, they also say that where children of God are gathered, even those of Satan are present.
Oh, most definitely. You know, the Bible says that when 2 or 3 gather, I'll be in your midst. And that is Jesus telling the disciples. But that message also goes to us. But also, in that midst where the Holy Spirit is, of course, there are forces.
Yes, it is actually in the Bible as well, where the children of God are.
Yes.
Yes,
because the devil has to disorganize you. But Jerome Paulson, I'd like to pick your mind on the same. First of all, the exposure, it made the hairs on my body stand. And now that Emmanuel TV channel has been taken down, do you think this is what should happen to the churches where cases of violation, cases of harassment and torture have been realized?
Well, I think it's a right move, though it is again coming in at a time where there were questions about the fact that why it was released after, his death and the like. But of course, there were confirmations that this was a series of investigations that took over the years while he was alive, even after his death. So you can get to look back at the same. But when you look at sexual harassment, I want to look at it broadly now, even in our society today. When you look at how we are upholding sexual harassment, it is really scary. When you look at how we handle it, even in places of work.
Thank you very much.
Yes. And it becomes very difficult for anyone, for any individual, more so women, who are yearning to be successful in different careers of their life, where most of them now, for example, if you look at this situation of a man of God.
Yes.
You're running to the man of God. And of course, even here in Uganda, we do have different men of God. Of course, other people do have issues with them, which of course, maybe one day we shall know which kind of issues. But when you look at that, the men of God are highly respected in society today. Everyone is going to them to, let's say, report issues, spiritual issues, counseling and all that. But then what happens in the long run is once you fall vulnerable before the man of God and he takes advantage of you, then trust me, you will lose faith. And at times, you've heard of how people say, I left church but not God. Many have issues as to why they come up with such statements. Right. Because maybe they've seen revelations or they've actually experienced traumatic incidents that they do not want to continue having. But also, as we move into, throwing, let's say, a stone to the man of God, for any person out there in the country, and you're actively into sexual harassment, and it normally comes out from supervisors at places of work, where we've seen even intern students who actually report out cases. But of course, many cannot even run to their parents to say that they were sexually harassed.
How do you start?
How do you start? And the question is, if you report, who is going to work on you? Or who is going to actually, sort out this issue? So sexual harassment is something that is becoming very common lately, and it is embedded into, I don't even know. Exactly. And it becomes very difficult for someone to even defend the male gender at this stage.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yes. Because someone will make a statement that equates to sexual violence, but you can't even prove it. Because you didn't even record, you were not on standby to record what they said.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Someone comes and touches you a certain way, you can't go and tell whoever you're
And
telling.
he's
They-
very
they might
intentional
even
with
ask
everything
you-
he's
They
doing.
might even ask you if you're a child. We are both adults.
Thank you. They'll be
Exactly.
like, are you until above
Statements
18?
like that.
Yes.
Yes.
So which is undermining even the element of consent. Because as people are growing up, there is a no and a yes. And these are
As
two
human
separate
beings,
entities.
it's a human right.
Exactly.
I think
So
for me, the other thing I'm seeing is that there is breach of trust. Please do note that where someone has much authority and power, they're looked up to. There is a certain level of trust that we place in them. Now, for men of God and women of God, what we place in them is that they are sometimes as if a medium between us and God. And there's a certain level of trust we have in them, or ideally, we always have in them. Now, the challenge is we don't know who to trust, because over time they have proven to us that they cannot be trusted. And that is where I seem to have a challenge. That's why I'm talking about the confusion that comes with who do you go to? Who do you confide in? Who do you pray with? Are they even saying, are they even preaching the right word to you? And those are questions that very many Christians are having right now, especially those that believe in the synagogue church of all nations.
And this actually goes across, by the way. The net is wider. Right now, it is a Pentecostal church that is on the spot. But over the years, we have also had stories from other denominations
Right.
where young boys have been molested by priests. And of course, some of these priests have gone ahead to be taken to court and charged.
Right.
So this sexual violence or harassment, when it comes to churches, it's like it's been here for so long. And you know, being church, in most cases you will not speak about some of these things because it will be your word against the person that everyone loves or respects. And let's face it, your pastor, your priest, these are people that the society holds in high regard. But you need to protect yourself as a Christian and go back to the tenets of the Bible. Read the word for yourself. Try to understand the word for yourself. The Lord said, and I'm not preaching, but the Lord said, I'll give you the Holy Spirit to guide you. So try to understand God on your own. Of course, I'm not saying don't go to church, but when we take every single matter to these men of God, then what are we doing as Christians? We are leaving everything that concerns us in their hands. And that's when cases of torture and death, like in the case of Chiwetere and his followers in Kanungu in the early 2000s, that's how these things come to the fore, because we have entrusted men of God with everything. So we have to go back to the round table as Christians and start. You know, you never hear about these things in the Muslim fraternity. You do not? Okay, fine, there are fanatics there, that's another story, but you don't hear certain things from the Muslim community. So Christians, like the saying goes these days, we have to we need to really take care of ourselves. Anyway, with that, we delve into the local news that we have been able to gather for you this morning. And we'll start with the unspent balances. Government is to start issuing warrants of payments considering the cash in stock. The Minister of State for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Henry Musasizi, says the initiative will address the challenges of unspent balances. Musasizi was responding to the heated debate where members of parliament roasted government for failure to address the issues of unspent warrants which are issued contrary to the funds available for use. And moving on, the Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board has registered a 20% increase in the number of trainees that have enrolled for the Uganda Polytechnic certificate after completing primary 7. This revelation came up today. This revelation came up yesterday during the release of the November-December 2023 examination results. The Uganda Business and Technical Examinations Board conducted these examinations in 150 examination centers across the country. The results that have been released are for the last cohort of candidates that have been pursuing non-modularized assessment in the Uganda Community Polytechnics certificate. Although UBTEB is registering an increase in the number of candidates opting for technical vocational education and training, legislators on the Education Committee of Parliament have raised some concerns. In her speech, Janet Museveni, the Minister of Education and Sports, encouraged more trainees to make technical vocational education and training their preferred choice. UBTEB has indicated that absenteeism by trainees turning up for assessment has continued to decline to now 3% compared to 12.8% reduction registered in November-December 2022. Away from that, Uganda's wetland cover has greatly improved from 8.9% to about 9.3%. This is attributed on what the ministry terms as the wise use of the wetlands that has allowed room for wetlands to fully deliver their valuable role in supporting human beings and biological diversity. As the World Wetlands Day draws closer, the Minister for Water and Environment, Sam Chiptoris, calls on Ugandans to join in the campaign to oversee restoration of wetlands countrywide. Going by records, between 1994 and 2015, Uganda lost 2.5% of her wetland cover despite enormous yet obvious benefits of wetlands to humanity. Following deliberate efforts to avert the trend, Uganda's current wetland coverage stands at about 9.3%. Despite the progress, the Minister for Water and Environment, Sam Chiptoris, is not amused by the rate at which wetlands are being degraded. Minister Chiptoris categorically states that Ugandans have sinned against the environment and the wetlands in particular, appealing that the sooner this is reversed, the better it will be for humankind. According to the Ministry of Water and Environment Strategic Plan, Government targets to achieve at least 15.6% wetland coverage by the year 2034. To achieve this target, the Ministry of Water and Environment banks on concerted efforts of all stakeholders, media inclusive. Uganda will on 2nd February, which is tomorrow, 2024, join the rest of the world to commemorate the World Wetlands Day to be hosted in Gulu City. And lastly, in our local news, graduates from Makerere University have been told about their responsibility to support the initiative of the Parish Development Model Program through sensitizing people in communities that the Parish Development Model has a potential to get them out of poverty if they invest their money provided by government wisely. Speaking during the third session of the Congregation of Makerere University's 74th graduation ceremony, the Vice-Chancellor Makerere, Professor Barnabas Nawangwe, said the College of Business and Management, in partnership with UNDP, drafted the proposed Parish Development Model Implementation Strategy and so higher institutions of learning need to work with government to make a difference that is badly needed. Makerere University has held the third session of the 74th graduation ceremony, where the College of Business and Management Sciences, the College of Computing and Information Sciences, and the College of Veterinary Medicine and More Resources and Biosecurity presented students who were conferred with a Doctorate of Philosophy, Master's degrees and Bachelor's degrees in different disciplines. Among the graduates is Kayongo Godfrey, a staff of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation and Magic Television, who was awarded a bachelor's degree of Information Systems and Technology. Well, congratulations, Godfrey Kayongo. Now, with that, we move on to the international news and climate news with Chantal.
Crossing over internationally, Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg has apologized to families who say their children had been harmed by social media during a fiery hearing in the US Senate. Mr. Zuckerberg, who runs Instagram and Facebook, turned to them and said no one should go through what they had. And he and the bosses of TikTok, Snap, X, and Discord were questioned for almost 4 hours by senators from both parties. Lawmakers wanted to know what they are doing to protect children online. It was a rare opportunity for the U.S. senators to question tech bosses. Mr. Zuckerberg and TikTok CEO Xu Zichu voluntarily agreed to testify, but the heads of Snap, X, formerly Twitter, and Discord initially refused and was sent government-issued subpoenas. Behind the 5 tech bosses sat families who said their children had self-harmed or killed themselves as a result of social media content. They made their feelings known throughout, hissing when the CEOs entered and applauding when lawmakers asked tough questions. Away from that, the Palestine Red Crescent Society, PRCS, has reported Israeli forces firing heavily in a raid on Al-Amal Hospital in Khan Yunis. We've lost a health clinic, major shelters, facilities that were supporting the people of Khan Yunis, says Thomas White, UNRWA's Director of Gaza Affairs, as staff join thousands fleeing the city in southern Gaza. Palestinian envoy Riyad Mansour has told the UN Security Council that for the International Court of Justice's provisional measures to be implemented, there must be a ceasefire in Gaza. U.S. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby says that talks on an extended pause in fighting are constructive. At least 26,900 people have been killed and 65,949 wounded in Israeli attacks on Gaza since October 7th. Now coming back to Africa, Kenyan authorities on Wednesday proscribed the church of a religious leader who ordered his followers to starve themselves to death and their children so that they could go to heaven as an organized criminal group. Paul Mackenzie, head of the Good News International Church, is currently facing charges of murder, child torture, and terrorism after last April's discovery of hundreds of bodies of his followers who had starved to death on his instruction. In an official Gazette document published on Wednesday, the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki declared the church an organized criminal group, paving the way for further investigation and possible prosecution of members deemed to have aided Mackenzie. More than 400 bodies were uncovered over months of exhumation across tens of thousands of acres of the Shakahola forest near Kenya's coast, making this one of the world's worst cult-related tragedies in recent history. And lastly, speaking matters climate, it's been celebrated for its potential to save lives through improved forecasting during deadly weather. But artificial intelligence also plays a significant role in exacerbating the climate crisis and could widen gaps that have left marginalized people highly vulnerable to global warming, warns a Brookings Institution report released on Tuesday. But fundamentally, changing how we live, both AI and climate change, could tip the scale of U.S. communities in ways that are unfair or unjust, says the report written by 2 Brookings Metro analysts and a visiting fellow. The report from the left-leaning think tank cited comments earlier in January by OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, who said the annual World Economic Forum meeting in Davos, Switzerland, that we still don't appreciate the energy needs of this technology. The authors highlight AI's soaring energy consumption as it undertakes increasingly complex tasks. Training a chatbot requires roughly the same amount of energy as 1 million US homes consume in an hour, the report says. And that's it for the climate news and what is happening across some parts of the world.
Thank you, Chantal. Now, this is the moment where we delve into the press, and Jerome Paul Sonko will take us through this morning's press review.
Well, with the press review, we start off with the New Vision this this Thursday morning. How districts will share 136 billion Ugandan shillings education fund. At least 13.5 billion will cover maintenance of academic institutions. That is the headline on 1st February 2024 for the New Vision. Now, Chinese mark New Year, a pictorial of the Chinese community in Uganda during the celebrations. Then furthermore, foreign news, Trump to pay $83 million to sex assault victim. Then in the obituary, Dr. Luyombia leaves behind enduring legacy. Then in revenue, Uganda Revenue Authority halts gold exports over 340 billion tax roll. As in the health matters, can 15,000 Ugandan shillings insurance fee fix Uganda's healthcare? That's a bigger question in today's New Vision. Now, in the education perspective, Senior 1 selection kicks off today. As in vandalism, who is stealing police CCTV cameras? Read about that report. As in the other matters to do with security, still with the New Vision today, the ISO boss and 394 other officers promoted. And then the top promotions, you can look at Brigadier Charles Otuka, Colonel Emi Katabazi, making it at the front page of today's New Vision. Then moving forward, the Daily Monitor with the headline, How Healthcare Can Be Cheaper. The possible cure with medical bills a pain in the neck for many Ugandans. Experts propose to a dozen ways through which government can lift the burden of citizens' shoulders. You can look at the dozen ways that the experts have proposed at the front page of today's Daily Monitor. Then 93% pass UBTEB examinations as Army promotes 395 officers. More of that report is in the Daily Monitor. Now, Ugandans are to pay 46 million shillings for kidney transplants, according to a new report. Then in the other stories, who are the men of God in the Luwero Bishop Press? Read about it. As Kenya-Uganda SGR works are set to start this year. Then in the DM today, matters relationships. Is it love or lust? How to tell the difference? Read about that in the Daily Monitor. Then lastly, from our press review, we look at the Daily Nation, that is from Kenya. Then storm over housing levy crisis as status two-pronged strategy in court and parliament to salvage the fee. Then also, Karwale says he has nothing to hide as police probe the death of his worker. Then healthy choice, alarm as more modern women opt to give birth at home. Then pending bills, hope for suppliers, owed billions. Then in a crime report, RUG officers let down defiled girls. That is in Kenya. Then terror, Mackenzie Church outlawed by state. That is what you can find in today's press, or what you could find in today's papers on the 1st of February 2024.
Thank you so much, Jerome Paul Sonko. Now, today being Thursday, we also throw back at some of the events that made history. And in 16 years ago, UB40 had their last concert here in Uganda, at least their last concert with lead singer Ali Kambo. Now, in the spirit of throwing back, here is Cherion with by UB40. Well, it is a beautiful morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us here on Good Morning Uganda. My name is Olive Monica Najuma, and I'm joined by the fantastic people that I love to hang out with every single morning, and that is Chantal Olive Akandinda and Jerome Paul Sonko, looking so damn fine this morning. If Chiraba was here, he would say, Sonko, are you going to get a wife? But no. This is actually a dinner date kind of outfit, but we'll get to that right in a moment. Good morning, Sonko.
Yes, good morning, Monica. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
And good morning to our dear viewer, and a happy new month to you all. I think when you mentioned the fact that I'm clad in an outfit that looks like I'm going on a date, I think it should be more like I'm ready for the new month.
And actually, the TV is not doing your blazer justice because it captures the color. I wish it could capture the color so that the viewer can see what I'm saying right now.
But well, besides that, I think it has been a marathon of January.
Yes.
And finally, People normally say it's 100 days of January, or let's say 89 days, or a full year in January, but finally it is here. I did see a meme someday which was saying that since January is getting done, it seems Ugandans are going to become wealthy and the like. So it's more like, for those who are saying January has not been good for them, they are most likely to be getting more money this month. But of course, to all the viewers, I do wish you all the best for the new month, and also putting you into context that we are here to make sure that you are inspired, and to make sure that we continue giving you news, information, and of course something that is more to do with the analysis that we normally do as well. So a happy new month and good morning to our
Well, happy new month. It is the month of February, finally, for those that like the joke around about the 90 days of January. It's finally over, and I think many employers have already credited your accounts, and there is reason to smile and to be happy. And in about 13 days, today being the 1st of February, then we are going to see the entire city painted red and of course black. I don't know why people like to wear red and black when it comes to Valentine's Day, but I know florists are going to flourish, and the pun is intended. They're going to make so much money, and of course those people who wrap gifts. And I love that these businesses are usually mainly occupied by women. It gives them an opportunity to make money and to contribute so much on the SME industry as Valentine's Day comes around the corner. So people who prepare gift hampers, who prepare flowers, all of them are in it. By the way, there is something that is usually done.
Was brought to you by MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial star 165 star 3 hash or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free. Tarehe Sita is a crucial day in Uganda's history. It is marked annually to remember the day when the National Resistance Army, led by Yoweri Museveni and 27 armed men, attacked Kabamba military barracks in Mubende district. The attack led to the 5-year Luwero Bush War that brought President Museveni to power on 26 January 1986. This year, the 43rd Tarehe Sita celebrations will be held under the theme celebrating the people's struggle for unity, security and peace for socio-economic transformation. The event is on Tuesday 6th February at Bugweri District Headquarters.
Well, welcome everyone to the biggest game on the continent.
And you've got to just seize those moments and enjoy them as much as you possibly can.
The cardinal role of a government is maintaining law and order, safeguarding citizens' rights and providing essential public goods and services. Throughout its tenure, the government has consistently upheld these principles. This foundation creates an environment conducive to delivering crucial social services to citizens through diverse approaches such as taxation, strategic budgeting, and effective policy implementation. A transformative education system, advancing healthcare provisions, enhancing social welfare, and propelling infrastructure growth, all of which continue to evolve daily to cater to the population's expectations. Supported by a meticulously organized network of ministries, government remains committed to serving its citizens. Coming soon on your public broadcaster, The Front Bench, your interface with the government every Monday at 8:30 p.m. with Joram Paul Sonko, only on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Times Channel 201, Zuku TV Channel 20, and Azam TV Channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Well, we are still here with you this morning, and thank you for staying with us as well on Good Morning Uganda. I'm Olive Monica Najuma, and I am with Joram Paulsonko. Now, later on, we will be joined on the phone by the National Environment Authority, the National Environment, NEMA's Executive Director, to have a conversation on wetlands. Now, yesterday, the Minister of Water and Environment directed the National Environment Management Authority to basically come at wetland encroaches with any force necessary, without fear or favor. Now, in the past, the government has faced criticism from different players in the country, where they have been accused of double standards when it comes to evicting people from wetlands. But now, with the directive from the Minister of Water and Environment, what is NEMA going to do? We should know that NEMA is responsible for the entire environment, not necessarily only the wetlands. But still, that being said, what are they going to do as far as the directive that has come in from the Minister of Water and Environment? We will be joined by Dr. Barirega Akankwasa, who is the Executive Director of the National Environment Management Authority, to have more conversation on this and how NEMA is going to be able to carry out this directive going forward. In the past, even the President himself has directed NEMA to curb down wetland encroachment and use any necessary force to make sure that our wetlands are saved from encroaches. You're welcome to the show, Mr. Akankwasa.
Thank you very much. Very good evening, very good morning to our dear listeners and viewers.
Good morning, sir. Now, we will jump right into it. And given the directive that was given yesterday by the Minister of Water and Environment at the Uganda Media Center, what specific actions will NEMA, that is the National Environment Management Authority, take to address the issue of wetlands and encroachment? And what have you done in the past?
Well, NEMA has been working with the local government, with the Wetland Management Department, the Ministry of Water and Environment, with Uganda Police, occasionally Uganda Defense Forces also, we seek their help to come in and help us. So we've been enforcing the laws on the protection of the environment and indeed the wetland. And this is going to continue. First, we have stopped issuance of any licenses or approvals of environment and social impact assessment for developments in wetlands. That has been stopped so that we can give wetlands a lease of life they should breathe. And two, you have heard or you are aware that investors who had been given land in wetlands, especially in Namave and other industrial parks, government decided that those who had not yet built should be relocated and allocated land elsewhere. We've been doing sensitization and awareness across the nation, and of course, we've been doing enforcement operations, including evictions, including restoration activities across Uganda. You must have seen operations within Kampala here, which is near you, but there have been operations almost in all districts of Uganda, from Kole to Guru to Kampala, Wachiso, Soroti, everywhere, Rwanda, Rukunjiri, etc. And these operations are going to continue. We sensitize the communities, we sensitize the encroachers, we give them time or notice to leave the wetlands, and if they do not leave peacefully, we apply minimal or proportionate force to ensure that the law is enforced and that the law takes its due course.
Okay, thank you. Now, you did mention that NEMA has henceforth halted the issuance of permits to people to occupy wetlands, to use wetlands. Under what circumstances in the past were people given permits in wetlands?
Well, in the past, people were given a permit to do agriculture in wetlands, to do fish farming, to do sand mining, to do resorts, things like green parks. But as you are aware, people were also given the permits in the past to establish factories. For example, most of the industrial parks like Namanve, Mbale, Sino Hydro, and Mbale Africa Sino Park, and other industrial parks. These were established sometimes in wetlands. So those are some of the activities that were permitted in wetlands. But this was stopped effective 2nd September 2021. We changed, government changed the policy, and we now no longer allow any developments in wetlands except for compatible land use activities like fisheries, for example, along the edges of wetlands, that we can continue to allow, and other land use activities that do not degrade wetlands, for example, tertiary waste treatment, drawing of water for irrigation, things like that. Those we continue to permit, but anything that destroys or takes away the qualities of the wetland to do its water regulatory function, we do not allow such activities now.
Now, Doctor, for someone out there who is listening to you and is currently watching, what would you say? What would you say is the effect of wetland encroachment on the impact of wetland encroachment on the environment and biodiversity? Because some people think the government just wants to basically rain on their parade, so to speak.
Well, there is, first of all, need to realize that wetlands play a significant role in the well-being of people and economies. And therefore, if you tamper with the wetlands, it would mean we miss that important role that the wetlands play in the ecosystem. Things like, for example, wetlands play a significant role in water filtration, but also going to what you have just said, biodiversity loss, because wetlands are habitats for biodiversity. A lot of it, starting from what we all know, fish, going to antelopes like tatungas, frogs, snakes, butterflies, bees, and so many other species that you know. Birds, for example, if I may give you the example of our national bird, the gray-crowned crane, its habitat is wetland. So removing wetlands means you are condemning these species to die or to disappear. And so that's the problem. So there is loss of biodiversity in the first place, because when you encroach on the habitat, the biodiversity dies. There is disruption of so many ecosystem services. Talk about water purification. Before we draw water from these rivers and lakes, the wetlands help us to sieve the water, and then we get clean water into our rivers and lakes. Talk about flood control. When you receive excess rainfall, the excess water is absorbed by the wetlands. They act like a sponge to hold the excess water, and then they will give you this water in a magnitude that will not cause harm. If it dries up, if there is a dry spell, the wetlands will be a source of water where you have no water. But most importantly, we are now talking about climate change, and everyone is busy talking about tree planting, which is very good. But we also need to know that wetlands support carbon sequestration, and so they help in preventing global warming. That's very, very important. If we lose wetlands, it would mean all these ecological services will go away. We shall have increased water pollution, we shall have higher flood risk, and we shall have more climate change, because the carbon stored in wetlands will be released into the atmosphere. Our cost of treating water will go high, because wetlands act as natural filters, trapping and removing pollutants from the water, and therefore, when we lose this natural purification, it would mean we have to pay money to remove the pollutants from the water before we use it. But there are also several other uses of tourism and the cultural nature. For example, the tourists who love birds, what we call the birders, they would pay huge sums of money to come and they look for endangered species of birds, like the crane. You have heard about the shoebill. Shoebill is a very endangered bird, which is looked out for by so many tourists from all over the world. This comes with opportunities of tourism revenue, opportunities of tourism jobs, and recreation also for the citizens. So losing the wetlands would mean you have lost that recreation value, you've lost that cultural attachment, you have lost the aesthetic beauty of that place, and therefore you are directly affecting the human well-being by losing the wetlands. The wetlands, as you know, all over the world, they are stopover habitats for most of the migratory birds along their journey. And these are international species which are shared. The birds will come from Europe, they will come to Africa, they will go to Asia. So you remove the wetlands, you will have killed this migration, because the birds will have no stopover. And so, in summary, if you lose the wetlands, you will lose all the functions that are performed by wetlands, and so there will be economic losses, there will be cultural and recreational losses, there will be ecological losses. We will have problems of fisheries affected, we shall have tourism affected, and we shall have agriculture affected, we shall have a lot of decline in economic activities that affect the livelihoods of communities that depend on these wetlands, and of course, we shall lose biodiversity, increase climate change, and pollution, and therefore our planet can't be healed from the three planetary crisis that we are grappling with, which is climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. So wetlands come to provide a solution to healing the planet.
Well, Doctor, that mentioned brings me to a report in 2015 and 2019 that was released by the Ministry of Water and Environment in regards to the status of the wetlands in Uganda, where the report does say Uganda's wetland coverage drastically declined from 13% in 1994 to 8.9% in 2019. Now, you've mentioned some of the long-term effects of wetland encroachment. My concern, though, is are there existing policies and regulations in place that NEMA is imploring or that is putting up to ensure that this encroachment does not continue?
Absolutely, yes. First of all, we have to appreciate that wetland encroachment is as a result of very many things, but the most immediate one is urbanization and infrastructure development, agriculture. Those are the two main causes, especially agriculture and urbanization, for the case of Uganda. And Uganda was the second country after Canada, actually, to have a wetland policy in the world. So Uganda has been a leader on the front of wetland conservation globally. We are a global leader in wetland policies and laws. So Uganda was the first country in Africa and the second in the world after Canada to have a wetland management policy. So we have policies, we have laws. The National Environment Act 2019 now has significant provisions that protect wetland. We have regulation. The Constitution of Uganda itself entrenches conservation of wetlands and makes them resources held by government in trust for and on behalf of the people of Uganda, and therefore cannot be alienated by government. Government cannot sell a wetland because wetlands, just like national parks or central forest reserves, are not owned by government, but they are only held in trust by government for and on behalf of the people of Uganda. So to answer your question, yes, we have adequate policies and laws to manage wetlands. All we need really is enhanced implementation of these, enhanced awareness by citizens, but also general citizenry support to ensure that we do not lose our wetlands. It is not feasible for government to achieve sustainable wetland management or conservation through policing. That's not possible. There is no country that has ever achieved this through policing. So we need the support and the deliberate actions of all citizens, because they are the ones who live near these wetlands and they are the immediate beneficiaries of these wetlands. So we need the general citizenry to embrace the idea of sustainable use and management of these wetlands so that we can continue driving and deriving value from them for the current and the future generation. Yes, the policies and laws are there. Yes, the government is enforcing. Yes, the creation is being made. But we need the partnership of everybody, most especially the people who live around these wetlands, to ensure that they protect them, as the government also, of course, comes in to enforce the law by arresting, prosecuting those found in the breach, but most importantly, continue the stewardship and raising of awareness and education to ensure that everyone comes on board to protect the resource that we hold dear and that is important for our well-being.
Now, back in 2022, Cabinet had promised a total ban on titles in wetlands and an investigation into the government officials that had issued these titles. Now, I know that NEMA is not concerned with the issuance of titles, but do you know if this was actually materialized?
Oh, yes. Government, through Cabinet, decided that titles in wetlands, first of all, titling of wetlands should stop, and two, verified titles that are in wetlands should be cancelled. And the process started in Wachiso, Mukono, and Kampala, and a total of 610 land titles were cancelled. More 300 are already verified and lined up for cancellation by the Minister of Land. And so this process of title cancellation continues. As long as you have your title in a wetland, and the title was issued after 1998, which is the year of the Land Act, following the promulgation of the Constitution in 1995, any title issued on wetlands after 1998 is null and void. So that is due for cancellation. It is due for impeachment. Titles issued in wetlands before 1998, which was before the law banned issuance of titles in wetlands, those titles will continue to be valid and the people will continue to use them, but government will have to regulate the activities that can happen on such land. So if you have land which has a wetland and that land has a title and that title was issued before 1998, that title is safe, but use of that land is subject to regulation and guidance by government. So the process of impeaching or cancellation of land titles issued in wetlands is still going on. Ministry of Land is still pursuing this. Recently, we've seen adverts in the papers, more titles being called, the owners being called to appear, shows why they should not be cancelled. So this is an ongoing process, and we fully support the process to continue.
Well, Doctor, what role can we Ugandans, or let's say the citizens, play in order to support NEMA's efforts to put an end to the encroachers?
The first action is to stop the encroachment, because the encroachment is not done by NEMA or government, the encroachment is done by people.
Okay.
So the first thing to support is to desist and stop wetland encroachment at individual level. In fact, that's the most fundamental step. That's the beginning step. Stop any acts of encroachment and degradation at personal level, and report any acts of degradation and encroachment to government if you are not doing it. If your neighbor is doing it, take efforts to report them and also take efforts to stop them, because the wetland is your land. The wetland is public land. Nobody should own a wetland. So why should you allow somebody to abuse your land, to steal your land, to backfill your land? Because this is our land. It is not anybody's land. Wetlands belong to all of us. So take steps to stop wetland encroachment and degradation at your personal level, but also at your neighbor's level, through awareness, through reporting to government, and through cooperating with the government when they come for law enforcement. We always educate and sensitize the people before evicting them. So it's important that the people should not wait for government to evict them. You can take steps actually to leave the wetland you are encroaching on peacefully, and the wetland will start regeneration. So our clarion call to the people is really to see wetlands as their own resource and to support them, to support their protection and conservation, because the people are the stewards and they are the beneficiaries of this whole thing.
Well, thank you so much, Doctor. Now, as we close, briefly, what measures do you suggest can be taken to rehabilitate the wetlands that have already been encroached upon?
You know, God is the best master planner and is the best scientist. When you remove the degrading effect, the wetland actually regenerates. So the first step to restoring wetlands is to remove what was causing the degradation. If it was agriculture, when you remove it, if it was the channelization of water, you remove channelization and open the water to spread again within the wetland, you will have full regeneration of the wetland. Of course, removing of invasive species and introduced plants which are not normally supposed to be there. For example, removal of eucalyptus trees, which we find some people have planted in wetland, removing of banana plantation,
How about the rice?
Removing of rice farming, yes. All those, once you remove the activity which was causing the degradation, the wetland has the capacity to regenerate. Where the capacity to regenerate is severely impaired, you can do assisted recovery through replanting wetland vegetation, like papyrus and others, and also closing water channelization so that there is free spreading of water within the wetland. So wetland restoration is not very difficult as long as you remove the activity which was causing degradation. And there is progress to this. Like you said in the statistics, in 1994, our wetland cover was 15.6% of our land surface. We reduced this to about 13 only, and out of this 13, 8.9% was intact in 2019, but we have seen this grow thanks to government efforts and all partners. We have now seen growth in intact wetland from 8.9% to 9.3%. So I can authoritatively say that it is possible to actually reverse the trend of wetland loss, and our statistics is indicating that we are starting to turn the curve from 8.9 to 9.3. That's already an indication that we are turning the tide back into the positive trajectory, and we should not relax, we should not relent, we should pursue these efforts to continue.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Akankwasa, for sparing time to speak with us. I'm sure our listener and viewer has enjoyed this conversation and they have learned something. So job well done, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much. A very good morning once again to our dear listeners and viewers.
Thank you so much. Well, Good Morning Uganda continues. We're having a conversation with the Executive Director, National Environment Management Authority, and we were speaking on the issue of wetland encroachment. They were ordered by the Ministry of Water and Environment to come use force or to curb wetland encroachment. Now, if you are in a wetland, if you're carrying out any activity that has not been authorized by the government in wetlands, this is a moment of reckoning for you, and you may not like what you may get. So you need to find out, is your land in a wetland? Because your land title also, if you got it before after 1994, it may be null and void. Well, that's all that we could manage to get to you as of this moment, but UG Tourism Express, that is a GMU Tourism Express, is coming your way with Allen Namisango.
Tarehe Sita is a crucial day in Uganda's history. It is marked annually to remember the day when the National Resistance Army, led by Yoweri Museveni and 27 armed men, attacked Kabamba military barracks in Mubende district. The attack led to the 5-year Luwero Bush War that brought President Museveni to power on 26 January 1986. This year, the 43rd Tarehe Sita celebrations will be held under the theme celebrating the people's struggle for unity, security and peace for socio-economic transformation. The event is on Tuesday 6th February at Bugweri District Headquarters.
Well, welcome everyone to the biggest game on the continent.
And you have to, you've got to just seize those moments and enjoy them as much as you possibly can.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
A very good morning to all our viewers. It is now time for the GME Tourism Express with Irene Alena Misango, Uganda Uncovered. Now, Uganda is endowed with so much beauty that every time or every corner that you go to, you're definitely going to find something beautiful to watch or engage in an amazing activity that will spice up your fantasies and also excite your adrenaline nerves. Now, let me just take you through just a simple snip about just some of Uganda's beautiful and unique species or attractions that you shouldn't miss on your safari to Uganda. As much as Uganda is the Pearl of Africa and it has so many beautiful destinations, these are some of the things that you shouldn't miss. Look, Uganda is a home to half of the world's remaining population of the mountain gorillas. The total population of the mountain gorillas that we have in the world is 1,063 gorillas, but more than 50% of these mountain gorillas call Uganda a home. It is why shouldn't you visit Uganda for a gorilla safari in Wind Impenetrable National Park and Mugahinga Forest National Park. Then also, you talk about the biggest population of chimpanzees in the whole world. It is found in Uganda. Talk about the source of the Nile. Like source of the Nile, River Nile is Africa's longest river, and its source or it originates in Uganda. Why shouldn't you visit or explore Uganda? Talk about Lake Bunyonyi. It is Africa's second deepest lake after Lake Tanganyika in Tanzania. So you need to be in the Pearl of Africa, and there are so many other diverse attractions that you should consider. But I was just giving you a snip of what you should be sure of sighting when you make the decision to explore Uganda. Uganda is a home to more than 50 different tribes, and these are distinguished with different languages, different dressing codes, staple foods. Like there is a lot that Uganda promises when you decide to explore the Pearl of Africa. Well, yesterday was the World Zebra Day, and in Uganda, you're assured or you're promised to see big numbers of zebras when you visit Uganda. And some of the destinations that you can see the zebras when you visit, first of all, it is Chidepo Valley National Park. You're sure of spotting like big numbers of zebras. When you visit Pianwupe Game Reserve, when you visit Lake Mburo National Park, and another place that where you can sight zebras, but not in their very, very natural setting. That is Uweg, the Uganda Zoo, commonly known as the Uganda Zoo, and then also CTC Conservation Center in PG. Then going into the travel attraction of the day, today we are exploring Lake Mburo National Park. Did you know that Lake Mburo National Park is the smallest and closest national park in Uganda? It is the closest park to Kampala and also Entebbe as well. So if you're planning to have a safari in Uganda, probably you only have 2 days in the country or you have only 2 days of your work, you should consider visiting Lake Mburo National Park because it is just about 240 kilometers from Kampala. So that is about a 3-hour or 3.5 hours drive from Kampala to reach Lake Mburo National Park. Now, Lake Mburo National Park is called the whispers of the world. Like when you reach this place, the sounds of the birds, the sounds of the air from the lake, all just give you or sum up to a very priceless experience that you shouldn't miss when you are in Uganda or when you explore Uganda. Now, Lake Mburo National Park has so many beautiful things that you should be sure of spotting when you are in this place. First of all, the birds, the Lake Mburo, where it derives its name, the rolling hills, the beautiful savanna grassland, the so many more than 60 mammals called Lake Mburo National Park, its home. And then when you reach this place, there are so many activities that you're going to engage in. First of all the most unique activities that you will engage in or that will excite you, the walking safaris. These are not done anywhere else in any national park in Uganda. Walking safaris expose you to the wildlife. Like you get so close to the wildlife, you walk along with the zebras, with the cobs, you walk along with giraffes. It is just an amazing experience. If you are just walking and then just in front of you, you are seeing a zebra, you're seeing a giraffe. So that is one activity that you shouldn't miss out in Lake Mburo National Park. But also when you talk about the boat cruise on this lake, Lake Emburo National Park is one of those lakes that have like 20% of its space is covered up with a lake. And this is a very focal point in the ecosystem of Lake Emburo National Park. But having a boat cruise here is going to expose you to huge sums of hippos. You're going to see hippos, you're going to see birds, you're going to see crocodiles, you're going to see even other wildlife species that come along the lake for drinking water, or in the afternoons or during the dry seasons when they come for drinking water. You're going to engage in game drives. Game drives here in Lake Emburo National Park are those that expose you to different wildlife species immediately at the start of the game drive. When just drive out of the maybe the accommodation facility where you slept, you're definitely going to start viewing different wildlife species. Then you can also engage in community walks. Most of the people that live just outside Lake Emburo National Park here are Bahimas, and these are cattle keepers. The most common cattle here is called the Ankole cattle. So constantly you even see these cattle also grazing together with the zebras. This is a scene that you cannot easily see or find anywhere else, because other parks have more predators like the lions, but Lake Emburo National Park, not having lions, it makes it easier for the cattle to graze along with other wild animals and also people to walk around. Then you should also think about bird watching. Like Lake Emburo has more than 315 bird species. Like they call it a home, and if you're a bird watcher and you just need to go to a national park to experience the birds that call Lake Emburo National Park, you should consider visiting this park. That is it that we had for you for the attraction today. And going into the travel tip today, I'm going to remind you to please get out of your comfort zone. When you go for a trip, it is not that you're actually a trip, you're going somewhere so that you stay out of your normal life. So at home you have, maybe you're used to waking up in the morning from that posh bed that you have. But when you go for a trip, please stay out of your comfort zone. You could try out camping. It is different from your normal life. You could try out hiking. You could try out like different activities that are not in your normal lives, and get out of your comfort zone. Thank you so much. That is it that we had for you today.
Walin, and good morning once again, and many thanks for sticking around to Good Morning Uganda. It is time for the GMU Business Update, and I'm Jerome Paul Sonko. So we start off with State House's Investors Protection Unit, which has registered 186 investors' complaints from both local and international investors. Now, while engaging with government communicators and public relations, Colonel Edith Nakalema, the head of the unit, said most of these concerns are fraudulent and land-related matters. The president recently instituted a team led by Colonel Edith Nakalema to fight corruption, harassment of investors, and then also the team stated that started their operations July last year. Furthermore, it has been reported that so far 186 cases have been lodged in from investors since the opening of the office. This has been done through the online investors protection portal, where Colonel Edith Nakalema was engaging with government public relations officers aimed at helping them understand their mandate when it comes to protecting investors, both local and international investors. However, Irene Kiza, a senior public relations officer from the Ministry of Trade, noted that most of the investors tend to come with orders from specific people, which make work quite difficult. Which specific people, we are yet to find out. But of course, a team led by Colonel Edith Nakalema did pledge to make sure that all these queries will be worked upon. This is further to help out investors to have a better investment climate in regards to the kind of businesses that they yearn to start up in Uganda or continue their investments within the country. Well, now the 2024 Data Privacy Day Conference has highlighted the need for citizens to be aware of all the data resources they hold, be it digital or physical. This was held by NITA Uganda. Now, the laws that encompass data protection have been put in place or are in place in the country to insulate a safe and more information space. Safe and secure information space for the Ugandan community, especially the community that pretty much uses the internet and technology. Now, Thomas Tayebo, the Deputy Speaker of Uganda's Parliament, was the day's guest of honor, and the theme was Stop, Think and Own Your Privacy. And on that matter, I've also been notified that today is this Change Your Password Day. With the emergence of artificial intelligence, I don't know when you last changed your password, but you have to make sure that at least you make your password strong enough so that in case of any kind of cyber threat, you are not losing your information. Now, Article 27 of the Ugandan Constitution, titled Right to Privacy of Person, Home and Other Property, safeguards individuals from unlawful searches, entries, and then also interferences with their personal space and property. It does further go into prohibiting unauthorized searches or entries into a person's home or property, and furthermore ensures protection of privacy in matters such as correspondence and communication. Now, as Uganda's public and private sectors increasingly adopt technology and the use of artificial innovations and of course the artificial intelligence, which is on a rise globally, risks of data breach are likely to occur if the available laws are not strictly implemented, and if at all you do not safeguard your business information. Well, now lastly, we talk matters energy transition. The State Minister for Energy and Mineral Development has encouraged artisanal and small-scale miners to embrace technology and innovation to bolster mining of quality and high-value demand minerals. Now, Lokeris was speaking to small-scale miners to encourage the sustainable exploitation of natural resources amidst the energy transition in the country. The State Minister of Energy and Mineral Development reiterated that the government's commitment to unlocking mineral exploits is going through innovations, partnerships, and also enhancing and uplifting the rights of the different miners across the country. Small-scale miners have been advised to stimulate the exchange of information and skills between different stakeholders in the mining industry. And of course, this is to help them grow within the industry and also across the Great Lakes region. Well, now lastly, from our business update this morning, we look at the forex market as you move out on this fruitful day of the 1st of February. How will you find the forex market? This is courtesy of the Bank of Uganda. Now, the US dollar is buying at 3,809.04, while selling at 3,819.04. That was the opening time on the 31st of January. By closing time, the US dollar was buying at 3,812.88 and 3,822.88. Further and beyond, the Great Britain pound was buying at 4,830.53, while selling at 4,843.20. And then the euro was buying at 4,121.34, while selling at 4,132.15. And the Kenyan shilling was buying at 23.75 shillings, while selling at 23.81 shillings. And the Tanzanian shilling was buying at 1.49 shillings, while selling at 1.50 shillings. Then the South African rand buying at 202.76, while selling at 203.30. Well, that is how you will definitely find the forex market as of opening business today, February 1st. Someone has reminded me of Juma Waswa Balunywa. Amazing times. Well, that's it for Good Morning Business this morning. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko. Coming up is the traffic updates with Olive Monica Najum.
Well, it is still Good Morning Uganda. I'm Olive Monica Najima. Now, Sonko, you did mention something about Juma Waswa Balunya. I'm curious. Interesting times.
Indeed.
Pray tell.
Very, very interesting times. You know, it actually comes at a time when today the Makerere University Business School is having their graduates for the class of 2024 at the 74th Makerere University graduation. But besides that, Juma Waswa Balunya is making rounds all over social media as he's yearning to be guild president for the Makerere University Business School. And his name is actually making lots of rounds because of his campaigning techniques and his campaigning team. So as I've been going through social media this morning, I've been seeing his name all over. And it's very, very exciting when you look at the kind of content by his campaigning team. It will definitely want to make you go back to university for a day.
For a day.
Just to feel the excitement around the elections and the campaign.
Those are usually exciting moments, but also, as you mentioned, elections. I think going into the elections that we'll have, the national elections in 2026, social media is going to play a great role in those elections.
Indeed, it
Much
does
more
play
than
a
it
great
did.
role.
Yes.
Even during the COVID-19 times, you get to realize it played a very huge role because remember, most of the time Ugandans were home. So many could only use social media to push for any hashtag or to seek for votes in different regions. So we wait for 2026. But for Juma Balunya, I think it's a wonderful technique, I should say.
The best of luck.
Or
I hope he
tactics.
has changed his password.
Indeed.
Today being, change your password day. And of course, I have changed mine. I don't know about Jerome Paul Sonko. And he did mention that you need to change your password. But what he didn't share is that sometimes your password, actually all times, for you to have a safe password, you need to have some letters, some special characters, and some numbers. Sonko, do you have thoughts?
I will tell you one story just before I leave. It is very surprising, by the way. I've looked back at my passwords, and I don't know why I'm even putting this on national television. I've realized that my exes I've been encrypting my ex's birthday and my birthday for a password. I should change this.
Oh, wow.
This one next, this particular. I've been a romantic man for years.
Well, with that, we will hop into the traffic updates because Sonko has started the month of love with a lot of vigor. Hopefully, you also have that much vigor like Sonko. Now, for those coming in from the areas of Bukasa and Kisugu via Namuongo, this is the area we are going to be focusing on in our traffic updates. Good morning once again. We start with a traffic tip. Now, most times you're told to wear your seatbelt and also lock your car doors. And for most people, okay, of course, for the seatbelt, they know that we are told to wear our seatbelts so that to avoid a terrible crash, like maybe hitting our chests on the steering in case of a crash. But also locking your doors, most people think it's to stave off thieves. But actually, it also helps to safeguard your life. In case of a crash, it might help you not to be thrown out of your car. So lock your car doors and also wear your seatbelts at all times. I like the current cars because lately there is a car that won't let you drive it for a lengthy period of time with your seatbelt not fastened. So please wear your seatbelt. It's not for decoration. It is to safeguard your life. And advise the people that you give lifts to always wear their seatbelts. But with that, we now hop into our traffic updates for the morning. Now, the area of Bukasa has a smooth flow of traffic for the most part. And looking at Kisugu Road itself, there is smooth flow of traffic along this route as well. Parkrise Road has a bit of an orange zone, and here there is you will encounter a delay, but heading ahead with Kisugu Road, it is still smooth up until the section where it joins Namuongo Road. Now in this section, this is where you're going to encounter delay as witnessed by this orange zone that we are seeing right now. Moving ahead still on Namuongo Road for for the most part, there is a smooth flow of traffic. Now, Namwongo Road has different roads that are feeding into it, and I see that there is a good flow of traffic coming in from main access road joining Namwongo Road, and moving ahead still along Namwongo Road, there is smooth flow of traffic. Now, continuing where Namwongo Road transitions into 8th Street, but also Mbogo Road joins Namwongo Road. At this juncture, there is still smooth flow of traffic. Ahead, still on 8th Street, we will experience a bit of traffic jam right where 8th Street connects to Mukwano Road, as Mukwano Road also connects to that roundabout that connects it to Access Road and 6th Street and 7th Street. Now, these streets usually have intense traffic in the morning, but as of today, 7th Street looks pretty fine, and 8th Street as well, and of course 6th Street also has a smooth flow of traffic. The only traffic jam I see coming through is coming from the areas of Access Road and Station Road, as it also feeds into Access Road, has a bit of an orange zone right over there. Now, way ahead, where Access Road now connects to the intersection with that brings you from Ginger Road roundabout, we see that around this area, for those going to the side of coming from the side of Yusufule Road, there is a bit of traffic jam right before the intersection. But for those heading up along Yusufule Road, there is smooth flow of traffic. Now, when we follow this direction and we head into Ginger Road, there is a bit of traffic jam just after the lights, but going ahead, there is smooth flow of traffic along Ginger Road. You will find a bit of traffic jam where Saidi Barre Avenue joins Ginger Road, and of course for those that are going up to Dewinton Street, you might experience a bit of traffic jam right where Parliament Avenue connects to the road that takes you to Dewinton Road. But going ahead, I see that the section that is King George Way, which connects you from Ginger Road to Parliament Avenue, there right outside UBA Bank, you might find some bit of traffic jam in this section. But going ahead on Kampala Road, we have a smooth flow of traffic. So if this is the area where you're headed, you are in luck. Now, continuing ahead, I see that where Parliament Avenue connects from Kampala Road, you will experience a bit of a delay because here, for the most part, the section is orange, indicating that the traffic situation is starting to get out of hand. Now, continuing with Kampala Road, we see a few orange zones and green zones. What this means is that in some areas you're going to be delayed, and in some others you will be able to move without any encumbrances. Now, still looking at this Kampala Road, where Pilkington Road joins Kampala Road. Here you will experience a traffic jam. Actually, it starts as an orange zone, but going ahead still on Pilkington Road, there you're going to experience traffic jam up until you join Kimathi Avenue. The good news is, once you join Kimathi Avenue, there is a smooth flow of traffic, and also if you're going to the side of Nile Avenue, there is still smooth flow of traffic. So I don't know where you're going this morning, but whatever you do, make sure you drive safely. Like I said earlier, lock your car doors, wear your seatbelt. This will safeguard your life in case of a crash. You will not be thrown out of your car. But let's hope that everything will be smooth. There won't be any encumbrances. There will not be any accidents, because you, as a responsible citizen, will make sure that you drive safely. My name is Olive Monica Najuma.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Topic of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial star 165 star 3 hash or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free. Tarehe Sita is a crucial day in Uganda's history. It is marked annually to remember the day when the National Resistance Army, led by Yoweri Museveni and 27 armed men, attacked Kabamba military barracks in Mubende district. The attack led to the 5-year Luwero Bush War that brought President Museveni to power on 26 January 1986. This year, the 43rd Tarehe Sita celebrations will be held under the theme celebrating the people's struggle for unity, security and peace for socio-economic transformation. The event is on Tuesday 6th February at Bugweri District Headquarters.
Well, welcome everyone to the biggest game on the continent.
And you have to. You've got to just seize those moments and enjoy them as much as you possibly can.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
The cardinal role of a government is maintaining law and order, safeguarding citizens' rights and providing essential public goods and services. Throughout its tenure, the government has consistently upheld these principles. This foundation creates an environment conducive to delivering crucial social services to citizens through diverse approaches such as taxation, strategic budgeting, and effective policy implementation. A transformative education system, advancing healthcare provisions, enhancing social welfare, and propelling infrastructure growth, all of which continue to evolve daily to cater to the population's expectations. Supported by a meticulously organized network of ministries, government remains committed to serving its citizens. Coming soon on your public broadcaster, The Front Bench, your interface with the government every Monday at 8:30 p.m. with Joram Paul Sonko, only on your public broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning, and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono. We really appreciate those that wake up with us as early as 6:30 till all the way to 9 and then to 10 in the extra. Now, children are going back to school, and schools, some have reopened, others are yet to open. But one thing that is important is we know these move on roads. Either they are going to boarding school, they'll still use matatus, they'll be driven. Very few use water because, of course, you know, there are some schools that are on islands, and maybe those that come from this side have to cross And we know there are schools in this country where children use boats daily to go to school, canoes, or I've seen the Rotary Club of Uganda donating more, better boats for these pupils to use while going to school. But by and large, majority of them use our roads. Now, road safety is very paramount at such a time. We do not want to have accidents as children go back to school. And it is my humble plea to all schools that have school shuttles, school vans, please service, repair these vans. And very important, there's so much overloading of our children in these vans, yet we are charged expensively as parents or guardians. You find a 14-seater carrying times 2 the number. These kids are so squeezed, yet at term, some people pay 500, hell no, even if I were to drive. So there's so much exploitation, and I urge police this time to be on the lookout. That overloading of our kids like their potatoes or tomatoes should stop. Now, joining me on set to discuss road safety as schools reopen for term 1 is Tamale Wilson, the director of Country View Driving School in Nankurabi. Well, many people, if you want to learn driving, definitely you have to go through a driving school. Tamale, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Long time, how have you been?
I'm really doing well, and I think there are many things going on within healthy of people, but I'm healthy, I'm doing fine, and I want to thank God for that.
For the gift of life.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Happy New Year as well, because you last met in 2023.
Yes, Happy New Year to you and everybody, and I wish everybody a happy new 2024. Yes.
Just on a lighter note, Tamal, are people still coming to driving schools? Because the people I know, many, have never stepped in any driving school, and they have the permits, they're driving.
It is, according to our legal document, the Traffic and Road Safety Act, there is a full phrase or paragraph talking about people to be trained through driving school. And anybody on our roads should not be allowed to use it without going through a driving school. It is written in the Act that all road users must be trained through driving school institutions, and they get skill, knowledge, and attitude. Minus that, nobody is allowed to be on our roads.
Well, our viewer, you can be part of this show. I just want to ask an interesting question. Did you go through a driving school? Now that you're driving on the roads, if you have the car and you're driving, did you go to a driving school? Because what I know, many people, though it is illegal, many people today, you learn from a friend, and with these automated cars.
Yes.
You learn, then you go, you buy this chart that has the road signs.
Yeah.
Now you master,
you
master the road signs. Actually, to be honest, that's what I did.
Yes.
Now, if you master the road signs, then when you go to Naguru, they want to see how competent are you. So if you have box parking, all this, then the chart, you pass your theory, then you have a driving license.
People don't only teach themselves in automatic or on automatic vehicles, but also in their compounds, garages, washing bays, and also some suburb, roads.
Even playgrounds.
Soccer grounds. Yes, and they come on
but
the roads.
Even before you dive into that topic of the day, why should then one go to a driving school? If you have I want to tell you, most bus drivers, taxi drivers, turn boys, turn boys? Learn, they never go to driving schools. They perfect, then they go, they do the test, then they are given their driving licenses, those that do have them. So why should I then come to driving school?
I think I don't think they can do the others you mentioned, like passing a test. Like, we should have what we call driver training, and also driver testing. I think some of them can gamble driving practically, but I don't think they can do very well in driver testing, because what is happening right now is that people have to go through the driver testing by doing the test online, but also it can be written or it can be verbal for people who are very much, not very much educated, but they have to go all that, drive, and then do what we call motor vehicle maintenance. Yes, they have to do that. Even if some other people can teach themselves from other places, they might not do that very well.
Of course, now things are a bit tighter
Yes.
at Naguru. It is not the other way where things were very easy. Now the tests are very hard, to be honest. And I'm told the failure rate is also a bit high. Now I want to send regards to all the inspectors of vehicles and all those that try out people are learning. You guys, you're doing a good job, I must say. Though now that is a test you worry about when you're going for it. Now let's dive directly into the topic of the day. When we talk about road safety,
yes,
Tamale, what is entailed in this?
Road safety actually means trying to take all measures to make sure people don't take risks of getting injuries through accidents. The measures should be actually making sure that people all get trained. We have to make sure that as people move with vehicles, maybe pedestrians, walk, and other kinds of vehicles, all means of transport, all types of transport, people should be safe on roads. And this includes people doing different things on the roads, because people think that drivers of different kinds of vehicles are concerned with road safety, but everybody using our roads, doing things on our roads, people selling things on our roads, people walking in our roads, people driving different things, people driving animals on the roads must be safe on the road. So the measures taken to reduce injuries, to reduce accidents, that is what we call road safety.
Now, one of the key word there is road. Safety you've well explained.
Yes.
Now, do we have specific types of roads and maybe speed that must be driven on these roads? Because when I drive around, somewhere 40, others 80. Please take us through that as well.
People think that they should do whatever they want on our roads. But people must understand, what do we call a road? Many people have said, you are telling us to keep road safety. You are telling us to follow traffic rules. You are telling us to do tests and, driver, testing and other things. But now we don't understand what's a road. Where should we do those? A road is a place which I can say demarcated by some organs like a KCCA, UNURA, Ministry of Works and Transport, and other organs. It has to be gazetted. They can say, we shall make a road there. Then they gazette it. Gazetting means they remove everybody in there, sometimes whether paid or not. They dig the road, that place, they harden it, because people and vehicles don't pass where it is soft. They design it. Designing means they put on trenches, pavements, footpaths, and signs as a language those people are going to use. Then we make sure that these people know exactly where they have to drive vehicles. Like, say, take an example of a pavement or a binding line on the left, and a pavement, or a pavement, the way you like to call it, and a closing line or binding line. That is where the gap left is where people or traffic should be moved, called the carriageway. So that is the road.
Then where do we see variations in speed?
Yes, some roads has names and features making them to be called so. For example, as you have described a road, you can have some roads, and we have names of roads like highways, like a street, like avenue, like terrace, like what we call, for example, I give you an example of a highway. A highway is a road which is big enough to take two vehicles. But why is it called a highway? It is a highway because it links countries to countries, cities to cities, and town to towns. And you are not supposed to only to drive at a high speed because you are at a highway, 120, 150, because there are other features on that road. There are roundabout, junctions, there are what we call flyovers, schools, markets, and other things. That's an example. If you come to a street, it becomes very dangerous. And what is a street? A street is a road which goes or passes through commercial buildings. And that one is very, very busy. People are moving here. There are just as many as you can imagine. And the speed limit should be 5 to 10. And if you exceed 10, you are very dangerous because people are moving here and there. If you take an example of an avenue. Avenue is a road, big one, taking two vehicles, but also it has many other things on it, like zebra crossings, pedestrian crossings, parastate, constructions like a government, ministries and other things. So speed limit shouldn't exceed 20. So you'll find that such an example gives you the speed limit. So if you go to what we call a terrace is a road which goes through mountains. So if you drive more than 50, you are very dangerous because even that vehicle can fail coming back and kill many people. So speed limit is there, but I can also tell you, or I can tell public, that there is no figure or limit for any speed limit. But you have to drive a speed where you can control the vehicle before you crash.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the types of roads well explained, the terrace, the streets, the highways, and well explaining why you should drive at a particular speed. Now, we're at a time when children are going back to school.
Yes.
And this is a very risky period because cars are overloading. Some even cover the rear mirrors. You find a taxi up, mattresses, suitcases or boxes, the side, and your visibility is next to impossible in that very car. But also, due to demand, you find there's so much overloading this vehicle. At such a time, what should we prioritize in the realm of road safety?
Yes. Let us start with road users right from their bedrooms. All types of road users. People think that when we talk about road users, we are talking to only drivers of maybe motorcycles and other classes of vehicles. But also we talk about pedestrians, cyclists, people moving animals, people doing many different things on our roads. We have to make sure that road safety starts with you. Road safety starts with you right from your bedroom. By the time you prepare yourself to come to the road, to come to your job, to come to your office, to come to your school, because the two things we work for in this world, just to study and have some knowledge about many things, and then you start making money by working. So you can not stay in your sitting room, in your bedroom, and then earn a living. That can't be done. But we are saying that start from your bedroom, prepare yourself, do certain things, put on the dresses you like for a certain event, for a certain kind of work you are going to do, and we call that actually goes under code of dressing, because you have to dress those attires, those things which will suit your kind of trip or journey or work you are going to do. Then it goes along with the after doing that, doesn't matter whether you are going to use any means of transport in that comes from one type of transport, the road transport. Yes, you are going to walk, you are going to jump on boda, bicycle, on a PSV, tax, or you are going to use any means of transport. Please make sure that you prepare yourself. After that, prepare the means of transport you are going to use in terms of vehicle. Check the vehicle very well. Check, make sure all the components are working very well.
Now that is assuming that the vehicle is yours.
Yes.
Or you're going to be the driver.
Yeah, yes. You're going to be the driver. After doing that, then start loading the things or the people you are going to move. We also cargo, although we are using different classes of vehicles like passenger vehicles. As you are doing that in this season, we are looking at taking back our children to school. On top of doing other things, make sure that you load these children and their parents and their guardians in vehicles designed for that purpose. For example, if you load children and parents and guardians on pickups, on lorries, that is very dangerous. We have to use vehicles which carry people to school, and let these other, even head teachers, use vehicles which carry things, food, suitcases or cases, mattresses, and other things. Put them on vehicles designed for that. And then children and people should be on passenger vehicles.
You've just reminded me, when by the time I was in school, not so many years ago, by then we used to be transported on trucks, lorries.
Yes.
That schools had school trucks, and these were basically lorries that would bring firewood, would bring the posho, and in case you're going for football competition, you jump on the same truck.
You jump on the same truck.
In case of anything, same truck.
And that one is very, very dangerous.
That was our mode of transport.
Yes, it is. Even now, some people use
but
that
now
one.
I've seen schools improve. Many of them, over a period of time, have bought buses. Though that is also something that the ministry should look into. I know of a school, it is now 15 years, but every time they are paying, and every time for a school bus. Don't know if they are going to buy an Airbus.
But also we have seen accidents. We have made accidents with those lorries taking children for competitions, for quiz, education, things like that, issues. Doing that shouldn't, I think, make people safe, because the design for the vehicle for a certain purpose is very, very important. If you sit in a taxi or in a bus, you are safe, because there are measures taken. Everybody must put on a safety belt. And the way that vehicle is driven, even if it makes any kind of dynamics, it is well designed and everybody is secure. But put people on a lorry, people are created in a way that they are not like bananas. They are not like sacks of rice or posho or other things, or timber or other things. But people, if you put them on lorries, we call them commercial vehicles, there is a way the driver can move that vehicle or drive that vehicle, negotiate a corner, and order load, because people are not they are not static, they are not stationed in one place, and the way they move, the vehicle makes certain dynamics, and all the load goes on one side, that vehicle cannot come back, and then it overturns. It's not like today, modern vehicles have what we call ESP. ESP means electrical suspension program. Most of these sensitive, departments and organizations have that, depending on their on the model and the technology today. But most of our vehicles today The driver can negotiate a corner in a speed 100 or 120, 180, and all the load goes on one side, then it will not come back, and then it will overturn. That one is dangerous. That is why we are saying, load the people in the vehicles designed for that purpose. Keep other things on commercial vehicles designed for that purpose so that people are safe. Load carefully. Don't put excess on vehicles, though they are carrying passengers, but don't put extra load, don't put excess, don't load dangerously. You find that it is a tax, it is a bus, it is a cost. Students or people sit on that vehicle. They hang mattresses, they hang certain things. The driver cannot even see behind, because we have seen and we know that the driver's second eye are mirrors. If you block them, if you are not able to see what is coming from behind, you will not be a competent driver and you have no observation. So you have to make sure you load the vehicle, everything inside. And there are people who load taxis and they find even the boot open. It is dangerous in a way because it will be even dangerous to people's health. For example, if you...
Dangerous loading.
Yeah, if you don't close the boot of that tax, there are other fumes which are so toxic and they can damage people's lives. And they make people suffer from lung diseases, asthma, and other things. So please make sure if the vehicles emit carbon monoxide, that will be dangerous to people's lives. So please load very, very carefully. Load the number of people in that vehicle and also the permissible weight you have to put in that a commercial vehicle. So if you overload the vehicle, you are deforming all its components. If you can say, I want to stop there, the vehicle will never stop in that particular, because stopping things has what we call stopping distances. For example, you want to stop and save something 30 meters ahead. And then you are overloading the vehicle, the commercial vehicle. It's designed to take 7.5 tons, but you put on 14 tons. That vehicle is strained. The brakes will not work efficiently. The vehicle will not be stable on the road. The way it has been inflated means putting pressure in those tires. It is not able to hold that kind of weight. So if you do things like that, if you drive the speed which is not allowed, if you put on extra load than that one allowed, you are going to deform everything. For example, you want to have what we call thinking distance for braking system. Then you see a hazard. The brain tells you to start bringing the leg on the pedals. We call that one braking distance, and it must be 30. Then you come to a complete stop, and that distance might be 30 to make the 90 feet to save that object. If you go through that, you are going to hit, and then you can save what you would have saved.
So far, we are looking at use the right vehicle.
Yes.
If it's for passengers, let them use passenger vehicles.
For that
if it is luggage, use a vehicle that is for transporting luggages. There are for parents, school heads, let's have those boxes, let them have a special track. The students, let them have a special track. Let's not have people on lorries, on fusos, on these cargo trucks, yet they're human beings. It's dangerous, and my guest has ably explained that. Then second, avoid overloading. He's given why you shouldn't overload any vehicle, because you make it hard for it to operate as it should be doing, more so when you talk about the tires. That's where we hear the tire burst and then it went off-road and all that. Then you find out that a taxi had 21 people. How they got there, God knows. Now, apart from those two, what other critical areas should we focus at such a time?
Yes, I know that parents, guardians, and everybody, it is a season for taking our children back to school. Some of their children are coming from distant places. They went to visit their aunties, they went to visit their uncles. Please check those vehicles. You go to all of those distances, check the vehicles properly. You must make sure that the vehicle is in very good mechanical condition, which we call DMC. It shouldn't be in dangerous mechanical condition. Please check those vehicles. Now, you are getting those people back to Kampala and make sure you are taking them to school. Please make sure that the drivers, it might be your father, it might be your mother, it might be your uncle and the driver of another vehicle. Please make sure you don't put yourselves in, don't pack yourselves in one vehicle as a family. We have seen that vehicles overturn, they make accident, they kill the whole family. They kill the whole family. Even if you are taking a coaster, you are taking a bus, you are driving your private vehicle, please don't, people, the same family mother, they have 5 children and some other person, don't squeeze yourself in one vehicle. Move at a certain time, even if you are using public service. Let the other people move in the morning, take another bus in the afternoon, take another bus in the evening, then you can reach somewhere where it is a little bit safe in the villages, then load your vehicle as a family. But it's not good and it's very dangerous. Another thing, please, as we move these children, we also urge the people using our roads, school teachers, school head teachers, and other guardians of those schools. Please make sure you use the places very well, like pedestrian crossings, zebra crossings very well. Put there people to control the movement of those children as they cross the road. We'll talk about the measures taken as people cross roads. Getting time, we shall come back. But please make sure. But also there are also guardians and parents. They come at a certain place, the school is there. There is no zebra crossing, there is no pedestrian crossing. He just throws the child like
into
that.
The road.
Yes, into the road.
Cross.
Yes, cross. Yes. And the child is in the middle of the, hey, mommy, doesn't know that she is always in the middle of the road. So please take measures. Cross the child yourself to the other side.
Then you come back. Because
back.
These few minutes of delay may take hours of regret. But if I held this child by the road. So one of the things you've highlighted again is the fact that we must ensure cars are in good mechanical conditions. Dangerous mechanical conditions, so that DMCs are not something we should go for. And I heard police now here to crack down on some of these school shuttles.
Yes.
Yes. Some of these vehicles, you know, in Uganda, parents have little say, apart from paying school fees. You complain, well, you're not the only parent in the school. Others are there, and they may not be very concerned. But remember, these are our children. So we call upon police. Some of these should be impounded at such a time.
Yes.
We've had a long holiday. They have been packed, or some of them have been used for other work. Now school is reopening, and directors want to save. These vehicles have not gone to the garage, yet they are not in very good mechanical condition, and they are going to be overloaded. I've never seen a school truck, I don't know why, that doesn't overload.
Yeah, but people
most of these kindergartens, where they have these infants, you'll find they squeeze them like potatoes. Then they back at your gate, like a child goes out, but when you look at what is inside, and the kids, for them, of course, it's okay, they have fun and all that. So here we need enforcers to come in. DMCs should not transport our children. DMCs at such a time should not be the ones carrying, filled with the jerry cans, mattresses, boxes, heading for school.
And the people must know that according to the highway code, we have advice given to all road users. As far as excess is concerned, drivers, head teachers, guardians must know that if a child is less than 12 years, they can be carried as two, but if they are more than 12 years, they take one seat. So what these schools do, like I said, they pack them. They don't know that the rule is there that every seat is supposed to carry one person. At the age of 12 and above, that one is a single person. If they are below 12, yes, they can hold themselves. They can be two in a seat. But that one makes, for example, if the vehicle takes 3
Let's say
people
a taxi
on the seat.
carry
Yes.
shops, 14 people.
Yes.
So that means if I'm having, apart from the driver, if I'm having toddlers,
yes,
a seat in a matatu, they sit 3 for.
Three seats.
They sit 3.
Yeah.
So now if I have children below 12 years,
yes,
that means I can have 6.
Yes.
On one seat.
Yes, you can.
But
Below
I can't
12.
have 12.
Yes.
I can't have 10.
Yeah.
Because per seat,
yeah,
there are 2.
There are 2.
Below 12.
Below 12.
But
If they are above 12,
I
it's
hope
not
that is
allowed.
gotten clearly,
Yeah.
and I hope we see that enforcement.
And every seat must have a seat belt.
Now, how do these two have a seat belt?
No, they are fixed. They are fixed. If they are too young, they have their child, seats. They are below 12, you have to put in a baby seat. Maybe carry somebody who is looking after them.
Yeah, someone who is looking after them.
if-
Because at least in a van, there is always a teacher doing this.
Yes. So you have to do that. So people must know that also as we carry these children, we have rules we have to follow as we load them in number of
Now,
people.
Tamale, I want us to go back to the element of crossing.
Yes, sir.
When we were in school, I did my primary at Nakasero Primary School. But I remember we had road safety, very paramount. They would bring us out of the gate, then take us to the main road. The good thing now for us to have a road, Nakasero, and the teacher would train each of us, look left, look right, look left again, cross. Now, crossing, we've had so many students, so many pupils knocked while crossing the road. So that, look this, look that, look that, please let's get it more clear.
There is a process taken according to the highway code I was talking about, advice. The highway code is full of advice for all road users. People shouldn't think that it is for only drivers, but other types of road users. You are given advice to do that. We used to have our exercise books, and that one is printed on those exercise books. When you are crossing roads, anybody helping those people, the children, to cross roads, you have to be careful. You have to make sure you use places left for people to cross. Cross only where there is a zebra crossing. And when you are all a pedestrian crossing, when you are crossing, please don't run. Just walk majestically, slowly, looking right, looking left. Remember also pedestrians, according to the traffic signals, which I could call traffic lights. We have red, we have yellow, we have green, but also down there we have pedestrian signal. That there is a small man on that signal who has only 2 colors, green and red. Please use that a lot. When you see that that signal has come red, as a man in that signal is red, don't bother crossing. So if you see it has turned to green, cross carefully, don't run. Cross one side of the road, stand in the island, or the white line left, or yellow line in the middle of the road, cross the other side. while looking, listening, and making sure you are safe. Don't run. Cross at places designed for crossing. Number one, zebra crossing I have mentioned, pedestrian crossing I have mentioned, where there is a traffic policeman, where is a guardian or a road warden. Please use those areas. Where those people are not there, please make sure you look right, you look left, and then cross if it is safe to do so. Never put things which can obstruct you, like headphones and things, talking on phones as you are crossing the road. Please, that one is dangerous because you are dividing your minds now. You are serving two masters. You are talking to phone, you are listening to music, you are seeing other things, and then the vehicle will
Many
come
people while jogging prefer having music. And some jog on busy roads, by the way.
Yes.
Running in the morning, you have your earphones.
Yes,
and
they do that.
having the music.
But you not listen to somebody hooting.
Yes.
Maybe there is something. You are so much in the middle of the road, and somebody wants like to tell you that I'm there. That hooting is also should be understood by most people, most other road users. We don't hoot at people or using our horn to chase them away, not harassing them. But that horn should be used to tell somebody that I'm here, to show your presence, so that, and use it calmly. Use it calmly, and don't just prolong it, harass somebody, make somebody.
Oh, there's someone who can hoot and even you're pushed off road.
Yes, they do that. People see.
Most so for us who use bikes.
Yeah, people
so
see.
Much. Some man out of they're so rude. And you're like, what hell? What is happening?
Yeah. So you have to make sure you use that one so to show your presence. Maybe somebody is reversing, and that falls a certain kind of.
Yeah, he's about to hit you. Yes.
Yeah. You can see the reverse signal. And most people don't mind about these things. There is a sound the vehicle makes to make sure I'm backing up. Yes, I'm backing up. So please make or use all those things, but never hoot at somebody. But also, let me tell you, sir, that we should think about the way we park our vehicles. We are not supposed to park our vehicles facing the walls, facing the other side, but facing the road for easy movement or maneuvers when you are leaving that place. And you see somebody reversing in the road, reverse, in the back of the vehicle in the reverse, entering the main road and trying to hit people, hidden people within buildings, within other vehicles and other places. So please, whenever you park, make sure you will move safely. Just join the road, don't use reverse. And people are saying, reverse doesn't knock. Reverse doesn't knock. Who told you that reverse doesn't knock? You must make sure the way you park your vehicle matters a lot. Take extra care when you are joining the main road to take off.
Well, we must get out of here and leave room for Ruben Mpima, Kasela Chibirango, to come with sports updates. But before I let you go and have your final remarks, there's one or two messages that are very interesting here. I have, good morning, Uganda. I am from Mperere. Thank you so much, Uncle Tamale, for the beautiful road tips. At a timely time like this, road safety must be fast. Life is important, even for our children. Thank you, Chugundu Benon. And then I have one here. Do government officials also go for training? E.g., that is the COWS, Chief Administrative Officers, the RDC's Resident District Commissioners, etc. If not, why do traffic fear to ask them for driving permits, yet they also cause accidents? George Kabongo, George from Kabonga District. And good morning, this is Muhammad. I see Uganda will lost road laws once every driver. Okay, so much here, but talks about the fact that now people now drive without going to driving schools. Tamari, as we move out of here, what is your last message to Ugandans, parents, and school heads?
Please, if you are using our roads, please be a responsible person on using our roads. Be a responsible road user, driver, and anybody using our roads. carry all the documents you have to. A valid driving license, make sure you have got the skill, the knowledge and the attitude, all you need to be safe on the road. Make sure schools who are driving school vans, please make sure you use only the drivers qualified for that kind of job. Make sure they have the class allowed to drive that kind of van. Don't just use my uncle, my aunt, make sure you use a competent person to drive those children. Let them train and come and train how to handle children, how to handle that vehicle on the, among other traffic. Please make sure that person knows what he's doing and he knows how to handle these children very well. Make the vehicles mechanically safe to do that and put all the things needed, EG, fire extinguishers, please, first aid boxes and other materials and other things you can use as emergencies tools. So make sure you do that. Make sure the vehicle is very well maintained. It is clean and neat for carrying our children and other people. Please make sure you do that. Speed kills. Make sure you are friendly to others. Help the vulnerables, more especially school children. They might not be with their parents, with their guardians, and you see a child 5 years crossing the road doing this. Please make sure, as a driver of different kinds of vehicles, please help the mamas who are heavy, help the old, the physically handicapped. Please make sure you are very, very, very friendly to all these people. Avoid selfishness. Avoid mistreatment, and let us move safely and enjoy our drives. Keep our roads clean by all means to make sure we all enjoy the movement, all vehicles, all traffic. Traffic can mean even a train, aircraft and other things, but with the vehicles, let us be very careful the way we behave on our roads.
Well, thank you so much, Tamare Wilson, who is the director, Country View Driving School in Nankulabi. I'll be coming to Nankulabi for more lessons on box parking.
You're quite
yes, it is one of the things that really challenges a number of people. Box parking, and I'm sure by the time I leave in the hands of such a man, well, I'll be good to go. Ruben is here, dressed over in yellow. No, this man also with colors. I think this looks like yellow. I hope he's put on yellow. Then he must first tell us this kind of, is it a back coat, a bust coat? Well, I'll be waiting to learn more. And the shoes. Anyway, I'll leave room for the sportsman. See you in the next hour. Good morning.